So, welcome viewers and listeners. Today we have an amazing guest, Donnie Strompf. He's a digital marketeer who helps businesses grow through content marketing, PPC, even Google Maps marketing, SEO, and more for over 15 years right now. That's a lot. Hi, Donnie. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you, Anton. How are you?
Oh, really good. We're really lucky to have you on the podcast today. So let's begin with introducing yourself to our audience, and let's just figure out how can you help the businesses? How can you help people who's in our audience, who's listening right now? So I would love you to share your journey into the field of digital marketing, how you came to specialize in SEO, content marketing, digital marketing, and everything you do right now. Please introduce yourself.
So I started my journey roughly 15 years ago. I was selling prefabricated metal buildings for my uncle's company, and I had some experience in multimedia. I knew a little bit about HTML, CSS. SEO is fairly new at the time, and my uncle wanted me to shift gears and presented this opportunity for me along with his developer in Hungary. Who sent me a few Moz links. And the first thing I did was I learned what a backlink is, and I immediately went into Wikipedia and added a link to my uncle's company for metal buildings, and it stuck. And from that point on, that was my new role, was SEO for the company. It took about a year and a half, and I learned a lot from different influencers like Rand Fishkin and several others. And the one thing led to another. A year and a half went by. I'm asking a million questions. I'm active on forums. I'm doing as much work as I can, all in-house. And we were number one for metal buildings, steel buildings, nationwide, throughout the country, throughout the United States. It ended up generating a ton of business for my uncle, and also saving them a lot of money on leads that they were paying for. The opportunity was great. And from there, I went and worked at another agency in Fort Lauderdale called Boasting Biz. We were in Fort Lauderdale, and that was back in the authorship days. We optimized the website so good that you would type Fort Lauderdale SEO company, and my boss's face would pop up with the authorship right next to the first result. And then we also optimized for Miami. You would type SEO Miami, and my face would pop up right as the number one result. So we were doing really, really well. We were growing. We had a lot of local businesses. And from there, I moved on to a legal marketing agency in Fort Lauderdale, or West Palm Beach, called PMP, Practice Made Perfect. It was a company that was co-owned by John Morgan, who's one of the biggest personal injury attorneys in the country. All the clients were spending, a few $1 million a year on advertising. And we were doing pretty amazing things at that company. I learned a lot through this journey. After working at PMP for a couple of years, I started good at marketing, which is my other company that primarily focuses on SEO, local marketing, Google Ads, PPC. One of the issues that I found with my company was getting the development side of things, the IT side of things sorted out. We have the right formula, but we didn't have the proper team to execute some of those technical things. You can learn a lot about SEO, you can learn a lot about content marketing. It's endless the amount that you could learn about each of these topics. So to be able to master and have all those hats under one company, without a specialist in each of the seats, is almost impossible. So I found one of the people that I worked with several years back, a developer. Him and I started Rapid SEO Host together after we realized that what exists out there as for hosting goes does not really support SEO very well. There aren't very good solutions out there. So when you're building a website, there's a few things that every SEO person wants, but the link building guy or the content marketing guy doesn't usually know what those things are, or he might know what they are, but they don't know how to execute them very well. Some do, but they probably won't have the time if they're busy with content marketing or link building or whatever it is that they're focused on. So we decided to build a hosting company that helps solve those problems that, you know, the average SEO person or even the most technical SEO person just doesn't have the time to do. We handle we call it the 0 to 5, right? Let's say 0 to 10 is what you need for a website to rank in Google. 0 to 5 is technical, your website speed, website security, responsiveness of the website. Those things, there's a lot that goes into that. And you know, a few seconds can mean a loss of conversions. A few seconds in loading time, it can mean a loss of conversion. It also means Google might not want to rank you above a competitor that's much faster. Having the page load nicely, another thing that will hurt, you know, it'll hurt your conversions. If the page doesn't look good, doesn't load nicely on all devices, then you're probably not going to get as many conversions. And also Google's not going to reward you. Security, if your site's hacked, if somebody gets there and the letters are in Chinese, you're likely not going to convert them, and Google is likely not going to rank you as good. So all these things matter. All these things take they take some of what's needed for your 0 to 10, and we call it the 0 to 5. Well, at Rapid, which is the company we built, Rapid SEO Host, the 0 to 5 is there. So all you need to worry about is your content and your links after we get you, you know, those few things sorted out. And we're doing it. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No worries. I'm just saying that I can relate to your start of your journey, because I was like, marketing was at first like a side hustle for me, because I was working as a project manager, and I really appreciate those people who gave me an opportunity like 10 years ago to start working on some projects. Same way your uncle did, and now, well, look at you. Just can relate to your journey overall.
Thanks.
But with over like 15 years, I remember like 10 years ago, as you just mentioned, like SEO wasn't so big because probably competition wasn't this big. And right now with over 15 years of experience, a lot of things changed. And to be honest, we are moving from one crisis to another, and we always we kind of got used to that, right? Right now we find with crises, and we just know ways to get through that. So I just wanted to ask you, what are the most significant changes you've seen in the industry over these 15 years? Because, you know, I've been working actively with SEO for probably like 8-10 years. I'm already tired. You've been there for 15 years. Like, just share your experience. What changed? What like shocked you? How you came through that? Just these things about your experience.
My experiences are deep. You know, when I worked for Morgan & Morgan, there was a period of time where I was working on cleaning up bad things that were done to the website, bad links, manipulative tactics, things that I never really did on my own. But whenever I found the website with it, you know, I'd have to go in and clean it up. Manual penalties from Google and Google Search Console. And it's like a nightmare to clean these things up. You have to spend weeks. I'd go to sleep and I'd see spreadsheet lines when I'd close my eyes, you know? And throughout the process, I learned a lot about, you know, what like shortcuts people take. Everyone's trying to game Google all the time. So Google got really good at making it really challenging to do things that game them. The fundamentals of Google never changed. And I believe other search engines just follow suit. But the fundamentals never change. They want you to provide a good experience for the user. Google wants to keep people on their properties. They don't want you going off their website. They want to keep you there. So providing a good value as a website that Google wants to display is our priority. Google has taken some turns where, you know, it's a little bit not nice what they're doing. In a sense, but you know, it is a business and they have like a million different departments. So, you know, I used to take a lot of this stuff personal when Google would make a change or Google would make an update. And that was obviously the wrong way to think. So, you know, over the years, instead of focusing so hard on all the little changes that they're making and just being afraid of what's happening, I'm sticking to the fundamentals, the things that matter, the things that they want, the things that are helping users. It helps conversions. It helps everything about the business. So SEO isn't just make it for Google. and make it for Bing and whoever else, DuckDuckGo, whatever. It's not about that. It's about creating it for the user. And if you do good by the user, Google's going to keep giving you to the user because you're giving the experience that the user needs to the user. But with that being said, yes, there's been a lot of changes to how Google operates, and now the latest is the AI world where people are going to be pumping out content. And Google might be taking content that already exists and sharing it without crediting the author, without crediting the source, which obviously is, they're saying they're going to make updates to it, but obviously that's not convenient. That's not convenient, for every business owner, any news channel. It's not fair, it's not convenient, and I don't think it was intentional, but it's kind of happening, and there's going to be a lot of backlash from that. So that's what I'm reading about right now. And again, this isn't making me go off of my track and go, oh my God, shiny object, because you've been in SEO for long enough to know that you'll break your neck looking over your shoulders. There's things just flying by, different updates all the time. And
a lot of things might be another bubble. Exactly.
The fundamentals, though, remain the same. Provide a good experience. See what the world looks like. I always, the first thing I do is I go and with a new prospect, I take them on a phone call. I open up a shared screen. I pop up Google and I go, okay, what's your website? What's your brand name? I type their brand name. We're looking at who they are. This is your branding. This is how Google perceives you. This is what you've created around your name. That's where we start. Then we look at, okay, what are some of the things that people might search to find you, where you might be able to translate that prospect or that searcher into a client, maybe not today, maybe down the line, but what are some of those searches? We start to perform them. Who's ranking? What do they have on their websites? What do you not have compared to what they have? And you unfold a lot of information right there. It doesn't take a lot to find that information, right? And it doesn't take a genius to do it. I've worked at all these agencies. I've seen a lot of what my competition does, and a lot of them just don't care about the bare necessities, the page speed. They don't care about the content that much. Like they care, but they just want to rank. They don't care how they do it. A lot of people are primarily focused on buying backlinks, which violates Google guidelines. So,
but still, if you have a really bad UI experience, it won't work, right?
Yeah, it won't work. You need all these things in place. If your site takes forever to load, they're going to another website, and Google will slowly drop you out of the SERP because you're bouncing off the sites. Yeah,
exactly. And this leads me to my next question. And it's so shocking how it's still like big news for a lot of marketers, a lot of CXOs, because content matters, and not a lot of people are considering this as a very important thing. I still hear things like, can't you just optimize the hell out of your PPC company or social media company and that's it? What, do we really need content? And I still have to speak about this in 2023. I can't believe this, but this is still relevant to discuss this topic. Content is important. And you mentioned PPC, even Google Maps marketing, SEO, and how do these strategies in these fields intersect with content marketing, and how can businesses like leverage their content strategy effectively?
So there's a lot of content being produced all the time, especially today, right? There's tons of companies, everybody's just popping out content. The point of creating content is to resonate with the user's intent. With SEO, and this goes for not even SEO, with search engines in general, there are different areas and different intentions for each area. If you put a keyword and you put a geography in there, you're going to get more of a local result. If you type near me, you're going to get locations. You're going to get Google Local. You're going to get map. You're going to get the map pack. You're going to get all sorts of results that are centered around a near me search versus something more broad. Then you're just going to get national results, and usually national brands. And maybe you're going to get a bunch of listicle results. Listicles meaning Yelp, the 10 best restaurants in the United States, versus if you were to type in Florida, you'd get the 10 best restaurants in Florida, right? Based on how you're searching, this is how the results are populating. And there's different ways to optimize content for each. As for PPC, you always want to have fast loading, like those fundamentals need to be there, which is what Rapid SEO Host provides. But as for PPC goes, you want a landing page that looks nice. It shows proof of who you are, trust. So you might want to have some accolades, meaning listed in Forbes, a bunch of reviews. Anything that will show trust to the user is helpful on a landing page from a paid ads perspective. The layout helps, having content on it that speaks to the audience. We're solving a problem. So with PPC especially, you want to make sure that you have different landing pages for each of the keyword groups that you create, keyword clusters, keyword groups. So the ad score is going to be higher, your click-through rate is going to be higher, and then your cost goes down and your conversions go up. It's a win-win all around. Having everything from the intention of the user all the way down to the conversion, having every one of your checkboxes checked off is the safest way to run these campaigns, especially knowing that everyone on the web is trying to achieve the same goal. You have to do more than what they're doing. You have to do better. You have to do a little bit more research. You have to really put thought into it. You have to get your entire team, put them in a room and say, here's what exists. Here's what we're creating. Let's throw some ideas on a wall. Like, what else can we do? What can make us a little bit better? What makes us more unique? And you know what? If it doesn't exist and if it's not there, let's create it. Let's build it. That's what content marketing is all about. It's about having a competitive edge.
Exactly, guys. Content strategy matters. No matter how you optimize things, you still have to connect with your audience. So now I want to ask you a question, and we recently had a discussion about this, and I wanted to know your opinion. Some people say that, super speed hostings, they don't really matter, that it's a marketing move from the companies who provide SEO services. Others say that it's essential and it's something you should go for, and fast speed and fast hosting is something that will affect your SEO in a big way. So share your opinion with us. Just tell us, do we need to get those fast speed hostings every time, or it's not relevant?
So I believe that it is relevant. And additionally, why wouldn't you want to check off a box? I mean, Google has their own page speed tools available to the public. If you go into Google and you type Google page speed test, there is a Google result right there. You click on it. You run your website on this tool, and you get back your results, right? If you're not ranking, if your results are very low, they're in the red, why wouldn't you want to get them in the green? Google's telling you your website is loading slow. They're telling you that why would they create this whole tool if they don't care about page speed, right? They wouldn't. The tool is there to help you optimize it, to make it better. Now, I don't know if it matters 1,000%, because there's so many different factors. I can't tell you if it matters 1,000% of the time, but it's going to matter, especially if you're really slow or if there's too many competitors competing, right? Every little thing you do is going to put you one step closer to beating your competitor. And here's a perfect example of why this helps. A user gets to Google, they search, they click on a result. It's taking too long to load. What does the user do?
Well, just closes the web page because user doesn't want to wait anymore.
They go back to Google and they click on a competitor result. What does that tell Google? Google has this data. If you're using Chrome, what does that do?
Do you mean like what Chrome does in terms of collecting
Chrome
data?
Read everything you're doing. It's Chrome. It's Google.
Exactly.
They have it in Android. It's all Google. They have enough data. They have a ton of data, right? So with all this data that they have, they can easily say, hey, this didn't provide the user the best result. That's Google's biggest intention, is for us to provide a good user experience. That's the content. That's the credibility, meaning links and citations and mentions about your brand all across the web. Those are two things that are external that matter. And then everything else you do control. You control your website. You control the content on it. You control the way that it loads. You control the hosting. If you're running a national company and you're in Texas, right? And the person's looking for you in California, and you're not on a CDN, you're not on a content distribution network, your site might load really slow for them. And then they might go back and find another result. Now, California, people who search in California, all of a sudden your website's not showing up in California. Why? Because your website loads slow in California. You did not provide the right user experience for people in California.
So we can come to a conclusion that any improvement matters. And if you can do something better, you probably should, right? So now another question. I would just want to look at this situation from another angle and wanted to ask you more about your company. You are the founder of the company, but at the same time, you're a digital marketing strategist. How do you combine these two roles in your company? And could you share some insights into your work as, doing these two big, huge roles at the same time?
So I've networked with many people over the years, and I've built a team. So I have my first company that I built. My first company that became successful, that actually helped me live off of it, and I work from home and I'm doing really well with, is Good at Marketing. Good at Marketing, I started wearing all the hats, and I was doing everything, and I was spreading myself thin, but I only had a few clients, so it was okay. As I grew, I needed to hire more people, and I hired a developer who I worked with for a long time. He helped me, get through a lot of development work, and I literally send him anything that's development work goes to his company, and him and I started Rapid SEO Host together. And we brought in an IT guy who handles the server work. I brought in my brother who has a legal background. He helps manage the content. We brought in a project manager. We brought in a page search guy. So we brought in an expert in every field. And when you combine it all, we have a very well-working machine. And it's not me wearing all the hats now. But the reason that we brought all these people together, and we also, for Rapid SEO Host, we gave them all part in the company, my developer and I.
Oh, that's a great move.
Well, because we wanted everyone to have skin in the game. We wanted everyone to feel like it's their baby too. And guess what? Everybody's working late hours. Everybody shows up to the meetings. Everybody's talking to their friends. Everybody's getting the ball rolling for the business because they have an investment now to be made. If we were greedy about it and we wanted to keep all the money, and we were just going to hire them and pay them their minimum share, then that doesn't incentivize anybody. So we went about Rapid SEO Host in a completely different way. We knew that it's going to take a team of people, and we wanted to build a team of people that are awesome, are going to love what they do, and our results are already there. For any client that signs up with us, they love us. We haven't lost any clients since we built Rapid, and my developer and I started 2 years ago with it, like onboarding clients, and we still have the first clients we signed up. We haven't lost anybody.
Well, I guess this is an incredible company culture strategy, and it's just amazing. In the end of our podcast, I usually ask our guests, let's imagine that I am in the start of my journey of being a digital marketeer or starting a business, and I don't know what to do. I don't know what should I do first? And also, how can you personally and your company help businesses that just starting out, that let's imagine they don't have anything at this point? How can you help, and what would you recommend?
So starting off with Rapid SEO Host would be a huge time saver, and you would be getting more value than you get from, I would say, 90% of the SEO companies out there. As for your website health goes, and the load speeds and security, which are things that Google cares about, your 0 to 5. Once you have that down packed, which you probably saved $1,000 from a SEO company minimum, then all you have to focus on is link building and content creation. Those are the other two parts that Google cares about. We handled all the technical stuff that will take, for me, it's too much to be able to handle, right? And I have 15 years of experience. I could go in and do it, but if I did, it would be taking away from content creation. It would be taking away from link building. And I don't want to do that, right? So it's important to have this. And we've built this specific service to help every type of business, an SEO agency, an in-house SEO, just a standard business that wants to have, a very fast loading, converting website right off the bat. This is where you would go. We have, if you needed the developer and a website developed, we have, one of my partner, Jay, he has his own company called WebWorks, and they would be able to help you with a design and the website build at a very fair rate. We all work remote, so we don't have, the high overheads and we don't have the electric bills that the big companies do. We don't need to spend that extra money there. The money that's invested with us goes directly into your project. We look for long-term relationships. So your website would be handled, your design would be handled for probably half of the cost that you would pay at a boutique agency, and you'd get a better quality, much faster loading website. You'd be happy across the board, and you wouldn't have your $20 hosting. Our packages start at $80, but you're getting the kitchen sink. You're not just getting the water faucet attached. You have hot water, cold water. You have a pretty sink. You get everything. So that's what we offer from Rapid SEO Host. Outside of Rapid SEO Host, I have another business that I've been building that helps with content creation as well as backlinking. Now, you're not allowed to buy backlinks. That violates Google guidelines. So we don't sell backlinks, but Google does have one method of link building that they really do like. And what link building is other websites linking to your website as a mention, as a branding mention, or they link to it with a keyword because they're finding you as a good source. So they link to you. Google likes that. It's like a vote of trust. That after you have your 0 to 5 done, your 6 to 10 is backlinks and content. So we created another company called Asset Linkable, which is a company that creates linkable assets. It means what we do is we don't sell links, but we create website content assets that are so good that the web just wants to link to them. And we also help with outreach work so that we can get the message out about the content that we created for you. So between Rapid SEO Host and Asset Linkable, you're able to get assetlinkable.com and rapidseohost.com. You're able to get your 0 to 10, everything you need. And you're doing it for a fraction of the cost of any other agency. And the quality of service far surpasses anything else. Obviously, this is 15 years in the works, and a lot of good moments, a lot of bad moments, a lot of in between moments. Dealing with a lot of different types of people, seeing what exists in the world, seeing the problems that exist in the entire industry. This is how we're solving it. This is how we're solving all the problems, and we're doing it for a fraction of the cost.
Thank you, Donnie. So this is what we got today. Content matters, speed matters, hosting matters. I will make sure I will drop all the links below. You can connect to Donnie's business today and improve your SEO. Thank you, Donnie. We actually had a few interesting questions I wanted to know your opinion about, and now seems like we're good with it. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm sure our audience loved the experience and got a lot of new thoughts in their minds after this one. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Bye.